morning. It is Thursday, September 3rd. I'm not going to lie to you. This past few days have been really difficult. And I have grappled with trying to find words and, understanding and, searching for grace where Grant is concerned. But this morning, and I shot a video, I'm going to post it, but I don't have to look around the gym very much or very long to see things that remind me of Grant. And I'm going to tell you why. It's not the training. It's not all the hard sessions where I had to be his coach, his disciplinarian, and drive him to be better. It's none of those things. It's the things that he did. And why that is important is I firmly believe the greatest gift that we give is of ourselves and of our time. And that it is very precious. And there's a lot of cliches that can be said right now, especially for someone that is so young, that life is, the fragility of life and all those types of things, and that it's fleeting and those things. And all that is very true, and I don't want to diminish that, but it is finite. And for some it's more, than others, and clearly in this case it's less. But the thing that I want to really impress upon you in remembrance of Grant is that kid gave of himself so freely, not just to me and not just to his teammates, but when he would come stay with us, he would be in other places, helping people move, helping people do projects, and that was just something that he did. I didn't teach him that. I'm sure his parents, insisted on that, but I'm telling you, it came freely. He would go, "Coach, what time do you need me back in the gym?" Now, I want you to listen to that, because it's been that way ever since he's been driving himself. When he would come stay with us, "Coach, I got to go help so-and-so, wherever it may have been, and what time do you need me back?" And sometimes he would text, "Hey, they're going to take me out to dinner. Is that okay?" Ah, man, because I will tell you, Grant was always concerned what was next for whatever meal was up, and I certainly can appreciate that. But just looking around quickly, and I shot the video, just when he was here last about a month ago, my son had made a fire pit out of a bunch of block that I had, whereas when the addition was built, it was dried in, and the crew of guys that came in and helped, guys and girls I should say, they hung the walls, they skinned everything, we put trim up, there was shelves built, flooring put down, there was a lot of work done. And no matter how much you try to conserve, there's always, some leftover lumber that's, that you do away with. And so we had a burn pile, and I burnt the last of it. And when Grant was here last, he cleared it off, stacked all the block up against the small building. He propped up some tires from the strongman stuff so people wouldn't drive off into the hole that was left behind, and broke my hoe, and it is exactly where he left it. I broke my rake, I'm sorry. But I mean, it's just something that, it's just something that he did. He asked me before I left for work that morning, "Coach, do you have something that you need, that you need me to do?" He would have gone, I will tell you, because I've seen him do this I've been upstairs and start missing where he's at because he wasn't upstairs, and I'd ask Melissa, "Where is Grant?" And she would go, "He's downstairs." And I go, "Doing what?" It's like, "Training? I mean, we've already trained." No, he wanted to wipe down some shelving. And the beauty of that is when someone, again, this is how imperative and how vital and how valuable when you give of yourself and give your time. Grant felt ownership in the gym, and justifiably so. He was one of the original kids, and he'd been there for 10 years, and it didn't matter that he moved to Alcoa or that he went away to college. Periodically throughout the year, he would come and stay with us, and even spent summers with us. And it was very important to him to help and to clean up, and he knew it helped, and that was important to him. And we built standards for Highland games and throwing. I even said it in the video. He helped me move a power rack that I bought that was going to be tight to fit. We took the time to take it apart and make it fit and make it workable. I cannot tell you how many projects we have done in that gym where he has helped me. Not to mention all the stuff. I'll give you a classic example. Grant, I think, was staying with us, or was going to stay with us. I think he still lived in Mount Juliet at the time when Melissa moved from Cincinnati to Mount Juliet. I backed up the truck the next morning. Grant was there. He may have spent the night. I honestly don't recall, but it was Grant and I that unloaded the truck and loaded Melissa's stuff into the house. And so you can see, how vital a part that he was in my life and Melissa's life. And I am heartbroken that I don't get to do those things, because one, Grant worked his fanny off. My son would attest to that. Sometimes he was very frustrating. Sometimes he had a lot of opinions and a lot of things to say, but he was so ultra helpful. And, and just the greatest kid, just the greatest. He was exuberant. He was still precocious and full of questions. And for a kid that, even as a young kid, when, part of his gym dues was that every weekend he pulled the trash and he swept and vacuumed. And sometimes that got done, sometimes it didn't. But a lot of times on the weekend he was also wrestling. That's just how it worked out. So there's been a lot of sadness, there's been a lot of tears, and this is probably the first time I've been able to get through this and not break down. And I just want people to see and understand, what a great kid that he was. And sometimes our finish line, there's something that I teach, and I think that has really resonated with the people that train at the gym, and it certainly did with Grant. And I think this is kind of very symbolic. It's never where we start, and Grant started in a very difficult position. He was not a very well-behaved kid, certainly lacked some discipline, and he was tough to deal with. But when a kid is coachable and they have to make that choice, you can try to beat it into them and all those things. It ain't gonna happen. They have to choose, and thankfully we, meaning his teachers, his coaches, his parents, his family, his friends, we found a way to reach him, and he responded. And he went from what I described when he first walked into the gym, that the last time he left the doors, he became the epitome of two so important philosophies that are taught. One is, it is never where you start, it is where you finish. And we are accustomed most of the time that the finish line is very far away, and in this case it was not. And while that is tough, it's tough to understand and comprehend and grasp. It's the reality of the situation. The other thing is, I have always had a strong philosophy, and I reminded this to Grant many times. The last time you walk out my doors, is all I did was make you stronger, then I failed you. And Grant is the gym's, not my gym, our gym's success story. You know, a kid that was difficult at best became the epitome of what is taught. He was so coachable, and I think the video that I posted yesterday of his first experience with a stone shows that, where you hear me being critical, telling him he's being cute, meaning, hey, you got to be disciplined, and he knew those things. He knew that cue, and he didn't quit. He reset. He made the adjustments right then and there, and he was successful. And you know, we had a good time with the fact that he did it. You know, afterwards, I really wish I'd have left the camera rolling. But while it's sad, I'm so glad that we got to spend some time with him a month ago. You know, that he knew that at the gym and our home was his gym and his home as well. That no matter where he went, that was a place for him. And he had a team of people that not only that he belonged to, but that he was a vital member, and that people believed in him. And he believed in them. So, just to close, I know this has been long-winded. We will do something in the gym in memorandum. It will be permanent. I don't know what that is yet. I've had a few ideas from people, and no decisions have been made. It's going to be done at a different time. If any of you out there that happen to see this and listen to it, if you want to be part of it, please let me know. And if you have ideas, by all means. And anyway, Grant was a great kid. I am going to miss him so much, you know, and all the late night, hey coach, we're going to go get ice cream. Do you want something? Or hey coach, I'm playing video games. Do you want to play? You know, those types of things. And so while this is really sad, there's so many great memories and so many stories of obstacles overcome and achievements and just great moments. And I hope that as we cope with what is coming and deal with it, that what we hold close is these great memories and what a great kid he was, and that our takeaway, you know, is again what he gave of, and that was of himself and his time. And I will always remember and love that about Grant. Please, God bless, be safe, and everybody hang tough. Love to all.